Today we are in class 2. So we are learning sociology of education. So quickly we'll revise what we could cover yesterday. So we are learning unit 2 of sociology of education. In unit 2, it deals with social structure and education. In yesterday's class, we could understand what is social structure, and in today's class, we are going to learn social stratification in detail. So to quickly revise yesterday's class, social structure, it refers to the organized framework of relationships, roles, norms, and institutions in society. It provides the basis for social functions. We have each unit from smaller unit to larger unit. Yesterday we could see that is micro, meso, and macro level of organizations in a society, right from individual to the nation and as a universe whole. In social structure, society is organized into predictable relationships or patterned social arrangements which form society as a whole and define actions of an individual in that society. Education and structure, social structure, if we have to see, education is both a product and a driver of social structure. How? By the end of this, all four classes, we will understand. It reflects societal values, norms, and hierarchies while also shaping societal changes. That is society, you know that it is constantly changing, it is dynamic. So social structure influences access to education, curriculum designing, and the outcomes of education. So it is very important to know what is the expectations of the society when curriculums are designed, when education's goals and objectives are set. If we have to see the example for social structure, we see from the past to the present how it is evolving. During the industrial revolution, we can say that is pre-industrial, during industrial, and post-industrial. The social structure kept changing, and accordingly the education system as well. So as you can see now, there was not even a bit they were aware about online classes or something. So how we have changed now, we are able to connect, learn in our own place and in our own space. So this change is ever evolving. So education maintains the existence of social structure by instilling societal values. What are societal values? What do society expect in return from the education institutions? Very important matter is what do child learn in the school? See, we can learn at home also. Why we should have a school? When children are at home, do they learn the social values? That is how they have to interact with others, socializing themselves. The values they learn in the school is socializing themselves, developing the character, then fulfilling the requirement for the society. It is also challenges the structure by empowering marginalized communities. How this education empowers the marginalized communities. What do you mean by marginalized communities? Whom are we referring to here? What do you mean by marginalized community? How education system empowers marginalized communities?
Marginalized means, ma'am, who are not considered equal. They are kind of a segregate, or they are not giving equal rights in the society like that.
Yes, exactly. You are right. It is unequal power and relationships we talk about when we talk about marginalized communities. So, marginalized communities are groups of people excluded from full participation in mainstream of the society due to various reasons we have. So, these communities often face limited access to resources, they have least opportunities and social recognition. They may be excluded from mainstream economic, political, in terms of cultural and social activities. So, especially when we talk about marginalized, we come across certain communities, that is SCs, STs, women, people with disabilities. You might be knowing all these people face a lack of access to the resources and especially opportunities and social recognition. What helps this inequality to reduce is the education system. So, how social structure and education system are interdependent. That's what we are going to learn in all this unit. So, social structure, we have to conclude what is social structure. It refers to the patterned social arrangements that organize society and dictate individuals, their roles, and interactions. The features of social structure, if we have to see, this is a hierarchical nature, includes institutions like family, religion, economy, and education institutions. Then influences behavior and societal norms. So yesterday we could understand what are the norms, what are the values, what are the organizations, groups. Then we also learned the components of social structure. What are the components of social structure we could cover yesterday? Three components.
Micro, meso, macro.
Yes, correct. Thank you for that quick response. So we also studied about the elements. Just now I referred the elements, that is norms, groups, values. So then what are we going to learn today? It is about social stratification. So have a look at these three images. So what comes to your mind? What is it? There are three pictures so that talk about social stratification. We can understand from these three pictures.
That these pictures are showing the standards of the society, like casteism. According to the caste, the people have the majority, minority,
Yes.
and other groups are like the third gender or the handicapped people or the women's like those kind of a people. So by
Yes.
these three pictures, I can guess this is all about
Yeah.
those.
We can also
Almost.
identify there is a class system and there is upper class
Ah,
people, lower class and middle class.
understood.
Yes, yes, exactly. We talk about hierarchy over here.
Yeah, correct.
So hierarchy can be uh, based on different categories. As you mentioned, it may be based on the caste, it may be based on the class, it may be based on the gender, it may be based on the economic status. So this is what is stratification. So can you define then what is stratification? Try. Social stratification, it refers to the hierarchical arrangement of individuals or groups in a society. It is based on factors such as wealth, power, education, and social status. It is a system that categorizes people into different layers or strata, influencing their access to resources and opportunities. So, this is what we could understand from these three images. So, if we have to list out the features of social stratification, what are the features? From the definition itself, we can drag out some of the features. How did I start the definition? It's a social stratification refers to the hierarchical
Ma'am,
arrangement. Yeah, sir.
ma'am, in the first picture, I mean here the triangle where the people are working. So from that we can
Mm.
also understand it also depends on their occupation
Yes,
also.
yes, exactly. It depends on their occupation
And
as
it can be classified as lower class, middle, upper middle, and then upper class.
we can also understand in that way as
Yes.
well. So if we have to list out the features of stratification, it is hierarchical organization. So society is divided into ranks or levels, as we can see in the images, with some groups enjoying privileges over others. In all these three images, we can understand that. So the top layers enjoy the more privileges than the bottom layers. The division of society into upper, middle, and lower class. Then second feature we understand here is inequality. Do they have a equality or equal access to the resources or equal access to the education? No,
No, ma'am.
they don't. So unequal distribution of resources when we talk about the rights and opportunities among different strata. Example, access to quality education often depends on socio-economical status. When we talk about the past to the present, so you know that in past who were able to access to the education, in present who are able to access to the good quality education and who are not. That is all about inequality. That's a feature of social stratification. Then universality. Can we see this kind of strata only in particular region or a country, or it is universal?
We can find it in anywhere, ma'am, everywhere in the world.
Yes, one or the other, we may not find everything, but majorly we find everywhere. It is a universal. So it exists in all societies. Criteria may vary. Just example, caste system in India and classes in the other countries. In some societies, we have a divisions based on caste, some societies based on the class, and some societies based on all maximum applied.
And this stratification also differ from every region to
Yes,
region.
yes,
As you
exactly.
said, in some regions in India, mostly we have this casteism.
Yes, correct.
And if you want to United States, there it will be mostly
Class
classism.
system.
And in some nations, it will be rich and poor,
Rich and poor,
like that.
religious
Yes.
based also we have.
And if you go to ancient time, it is like Varnas,
Yes,
Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras.
yes, Varna system we have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it depends upon their age and the culture we are following that also.
Yes, very true, very true. Thank you for all that. Then the fourth feature we have is ascribed and achieved status. So what is ascribed status? Can you give example of for ascribed? Ascribed is nothing but inherited, or we also call it a closed status. I tell you why it is called closed status. So inherited, what is inherited status we have in a society? The first picture when you can see, I hope you can understand that, or when we look at our family, what do we inherit from our ancestors or our fathers or grandfathers? What do we inherit in our family structure? Who is the head of the family?
Father is the head of the family.
Father is the head of the family. Isn't that inherited? Again, we if suppose there are two or three male children, whom it goes to? Elder son.
Elder one only.
Yeah. So isn't that inherited one? That is inherited one.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that is we call ascribed. And what about the when we see as a whole, society as a whole, in a nation or in a state, if I am born in that particular caste, I belong to that caste itself. This is inherited. This cannot be changed and it is closed. In other opposite of it, we have one more class here, that is achieved status. What is achieved status? We can see achieved status in any of these levels. Achieved status is open. It can be of any caste people or any class people. So when we come to the class, that is when we talk about achieved status, in the organization will take, in our school itself will take. So we go by a teacher. Teacher get promoted due to her contribution to the school, promoted as a coordinator, promoted as a vice principal, promoted as a principal. What is this? Changing of the class. So it is open to anybody. Is it restricted to particular people?
No, no.
It is not restricted to particular. It is open. So when we talk about the career success, when we talk about in any organization, any institution, just as I gave example in the school. So as a person earns more money, his economic status keep changing. So if he is in the lower class, he will upgrade himself to middle class. If his economic status changes, again upper class. So it can, vice versa also can happen. So if person earning stops, again his level drops. So this is what we understand ascribed and achieved status. So this is also one of the features of social stratification. There we have listed out four features: hierarchical organization, inequality, universality, ascribed and achieved status. I hope all the four features are clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move on to the next types of social stratification. As we have listed out the types of social stratification, so based on the caste system we have, class system we have, and meritocracy we have. About the caste system, it is based on the birth and it is hereditary. We call it the ascribed status. Example, the traditional caste system in India we have, where roles and occupations were determined by the caste. Then class, when we talk about, it is based on economic factors such as income and wealth. So here we have three divisions: upper, middle, and lower. Then when we talk about meritocracy, it is based on individual talent, efforts, and achievement.
Merit,
Yeah,
their competency and their talent or their skill.
exactly. So we see in the classroom as well, meritocracy of the child, or children in that particular class in the school. So based on their talent, their effort, their academic achievement, non-academic achievement, when we come to the organization and the institutions, we talk about their performance, and their performance based the promotions are given. So that is meritocracy. Then theories. What are the theories of social stratification? Two famous names I'm listing out here. Hope you might have heard about them. Karl Marx and Max Weber. Have you heard about them anywhere?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Karl Marx, he has prepared a theory on social stratification. You all might be knowing that he was against the capitalist class. He focused on a class conflict between the bourgeoisie and proletariat. Bourgeoisie, they are the owners, and proletariat, when we talk about the workers. He stressed on the workers and their efforts, which brings profit to the organization, and it is enjoyed by the bourgeoisie, that is owners. And owners, when we talk about stratification, owners come in the higher hierarchy and workers come in the lower hierarchy. But who is putting more effort here? The workers are putting more efforts. And who is enjoying the profit? It is the bourgeoisie or owners enjoying. So industrial capitalism created a divide between factory owners and laborers. So as I told you, so when we talk about the structure and stratification, we have pre-industrial, during industrial, that is industrial, and post-industrial stratification. It kept changing. We had no concept like capitalist class pre-industrial. So this capitalist class emerged during industrial. Then coming to the Max Weber, who added dimensions of status and power to Marxist economic focus. Example, a wealthy individual may lack social prestige, while a religious leader may have high status but little wealth. It's so true. We respect a lot our religious heads, but I hope you might be knowing their economic condition. Then that respect, when they are earning, they are in the higher hierarchy. But when it comes of wealth wise, they are in the middle or lower hierarchy. There are many theories. These are enough to understand it. Then examples. Examples of social stratification. So we have economic stratification, gender stratification, racial stratification, educational stratification. So let me give you example for each. Economic stratification. What is economic stratification? Haves and have-nots, wealthy and or lower, middle, and upper. Wealth, disparities between the billionaires and minimum wage workers. You can see the difference. The gap between the CEOs in the organization and the factory employees in a multinational corporations. You can see the gap. Then gender certification, it is unequal opportunities and treatment based on gender. We may not see much difference in the urban areas, but still somewhere we are able to see the difference in far away, where women earn less than men for the same work. You all know, right? Where the same work is performed by both men and women, who get more and who get less.
Yes,
So it
ma'am.
is thanks to the government made a Equal Remuneration Act, but still that is in the paper itself. Then racial stratification wills, discrimination and unequal treatment based on race or ethnicity. Based on the race, South Africa example we can take how it was. Do you feel that it was only in South Africa during those days, or still we see it in present era also? Racial stratification we can see in present era as well.
Isn't it is also there, ma'am?
Yes, exactly. It is there still. Then educational stratification we have. The one who is able to access to the quality education and higher education, it depends on socio-economical status. So we can take a private school example and the public school example. So usually private schools offer better resources than the public schools. So these are the few examples I could list out here: economic stratification, gender stratification, racial stratification, educational stratification. What do you feel the impact of all this? Do we have positive impact or negative impact or both the impacts?
Both
Stratification. Yeah, we have both positive impact and negative impact.
people who are in a minority, they are not getting opportunities to move
Yes,
forward.
it is correct.
They have very they're getting very limited
True, very
opportunity.
true.
Even they are more talented than the majority people, but still because of lack of opportunity they are not upgrading
Very true,
themselves.
very true. Practical.
Women, these minorities having the opportunities, ma'am, but they are not aware of those opportunities, so they are not able to claim.
Why are
Lack
they
of
not aware?
education,
Mostly, this
Yes,
lack of medium,
yes,
tribes
yes,
lack
are
of
not aware of
resources
their
also.
opportunities.
yes, yes. Very lack of education and lack of access to media or so a lot of factors are there, and these are the major factors. Thank you for all those inputs. We have both positive and negative impact. When we have to talk about positive impact, so it encourages and competition and innovation in meritocratic system. You know that why do we have a competitions in our schools or anywhere? That inspires the people. They feel like they have to do much more better. They have to practice. They have to come up. They get a remuneration. So when we talk about in the organizations, when it comes to promotion, so we put our hard work, smart work. That is a kind of positive impact and provides the stability by assigning roles and responsibilities as we go to the higher level. Then negative impacts are inequality, as you mentioned, limits the social mobility, leads to social tension and conflicts, and we devise have and have nots. It breaks the connectivity between the two. So again, that may lead to vulnerability, social exclusion. We will move on to the next topic, that is caste and class. What is caste and what is class? Yes,
Social
what is
division,
caste?
ma'am, of the people based on their work or
Yes.
their gender.
Okay, so caste system emerged almost in the from the ancient time, which we called earlier as a Varna system, that only converted as a fixed. Yeah, when we talk about earlier Vedas, it wasn't like that. So if you did that particular work, you were referred to as that particular Varna. But later Vedas, when we come across, we like if you are born in that family, then you have to do that task only. So this kept changing till now. It is a social division. We have four hierarchy over here. So what are those four hierarchy in caste system?
Based on their work, ma'am, the people, the social people, they are categorized in the according to their work.
Yes, correct. This is India. The caste system has defined the characteristics of Indian society for thousands of years. The caste of a person designated by the term jati, that means birth, refers to a strictly regulated community into which they are born. This is in ancient India, a person's varna or the color was responsible for the distinction on what basis they have been divided like this. So you know that from the ancient time, we have this kind of system, this kind of division. This is a complex system in which we have four hierarchy. The Brahmins in the top, Kshatriyas next, followed by Vaishyas and Shudras at the bottom. So let's have a difference here based on the basis of division, caste and class. Caste determined by birth and it is hereditary factor, whereas class is determined by socio-economic factors such as wealth, education, and occupation. Then mobility. Based on mobility, it is generally caste is fixed, limited social mobility they have. So you all know that if we are born in that particular caste and we carry on that caste name. But class is not like that. It is more flexible. Individuals can move up or down the class hierarchy based on economic change or achievement. Then social interaction, caste and dogmas, strict rules about marrying within one's caste. I hope all of you are aware of, except here and there, but still people look at the caste particularly when it comes of marriage. Then class. It is more open. So individuals can form a relationships across class lines through social barriers may still exist, whichever caste they may belong to, but their class can vary, go high or low. Then legal status, caste often based on traditional laws and customs, not always legally recognized. Class, it is recognized in terms of socioeconomic status, can influence access to legal rights and opportunity. Then cultural practices, caste involves specific rituals, customs, and practices tied to caste identity. Then class, it is more diverse and influenced by broader socio-economic conditions and lifestyle. What is the class structure and what is the caste structure? Tell me the structure of
Caste
caste
is
and class.
hereditary, ma'am, and class is determined by the social economic factors. Means who have the more wealth, they have a different type of class. Who don't have the wealth or property, they are considered as a less class.
Yeah, yes, correct. So based on the wealth, income, and occupation, we have a class structure, and caste is
But
based on birth. So that's why we call it a closed. So which among these
class is
overlap?
overlap to caste.
Yes. So usually you see that when we talk about the lower caste, what
SC,
comes to mind?
ST, who don't have wealth, who
Access
don't
to
have
resources.
life standard amenities and all.
Yeah, that is what image
Yes,
comes
yes.
to our mind. In present era, such kind of stereotype of opinions have been changing. So what made this kind of change? Or practice of casteism isn't allowed now. Okay, you are born in that caste, you do that job alone. We won't find such kind of now. What made this kind of mobility? This is called occupational mobility. We won't have a person born in the businessman family or the traders do the same job or carry on his family business. He can go to any other field as well. So if a person born in the farmer family, not necessarily do the farming itself, he can go to the other occupation. What made this kind of change? This is called occupational mobility, which leads to the social mobility. Don't you feel there are two important aspects here when we talk about the change in the social mobility or occupational mobility? One is the policies of the government. Tell me any one policy that will help this kind of movement. The laws are made. The Article 17 of the Constitution, it talks about practice of untouchability is prohibited and punishable if any practices. Then we talk about universal adult franchise, giving right for them even contest the elections. Then many reservations have been given to them. Then second factor is education. People are getting aware of. So this is about caste and class. You all have to note it down. It is one of the important topic in this unit 2,
Yes,
stratification.
ma'am.
Okay, then social change. Do we have a same system of society which was existed
Yes,
long
yes,
ago?
ma'am.
Really? Do we have this kind of system
No, 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 no,
called
no, no,
gurukulas?
not that kind of. But this casteism is coming from the long back, ma'am. Now still it is in our society.
Okay, okay. Just watch this four and a
The
half
ancient
Yes,
minutes.
Indians
ma'am.
were
Yes,
divided
ma'am.
into social classes, and in what ways social classes of ancient India reflected the attitudes, beliefs, and needs of ancient Indian society. The term social classes through a historian's lens means how a civilization is divided into classes that have different roles, responsibilities, and privileges. For example, most ancient civilizations are ruled by kings and governed locally by nobles. A working class of farmers and laborers made up most of the population, and in some cases, the lowest class were slaves. How were the people of ancient India divided into social classes? The Aryans brought the caste system to ancient India, creating a strict social ladder. Each group was a different varna, or social class in ancient India. Let's take a closer look at each varna in order, from the most to the least significant in India's society. The Brahmins, or top social class, were priests, scholars, and later, Hindu gurus or teachers. Next were the Kshatriyas, or the upper middle class, who were kings and warriors. The Vaishyas, or the middle class, made up businessmen, traders, and farm owners. The Shudras were servants, or unskilled farmers, considered inferior to the other castes mentioned above. Lastly, at the bottom, were the Dalit, or untouchables, who were laborers that did the lowest and worst of jobs. Though they were not slaves, they were considered unclean and were often forced to live outside of villages. While it's unfair, once a person is born into one of 5 groups, they have little to no chance of moving into different Varnas. People were prohibited to marry outside of their own Varna. They lived in communities with each other and were often forbidden to mingle with other Varnas. In what ways did social classes of ancient India reflect the attitudes, beliefs, and needs of ancient India society? The highest social class, the Brahmins, were those directly connected with Hinduism. They were religious scholars who sought knowledge and heightened spirituality or enlightenment. The word Brahmin has its root in the name Brahman, the universal being of Hinduism, of which all Hindu deities are connected. In the Hindu religion, dharma are the duties of each caste member. Dharma gives direction for each Varna on how to live their lives in the best way. If life is not lived in the best way, Hindus believe that the spirit of a human or animal gets reincarnated into or reborn into a host of a different social class. This aspect of their religion further reinforced the caste system to India's population. The middle class consisted of merchants and farm owners, reflecting the importance of trade and agriculture throughout India's history. Test your knowledge. In this game, you'll try to predict the Varna to which the character belongs based on their actions. First, quickly familiarize yourself with the Varna members and their roles. Is he a Brahmin? Belong to. Is Rishi? Based on his actions, to which ancient Indian social class or Varna does he most likely belong?
So I hope you got to know what is he. So
Yes.
which class does he belong to? That was a question asked here.
That is Siddha.
Shudra.
Shudra. Okay.
Working class, yeah.
Working class. Okay. So that was all about. We have a change in the structure of Indian society. So what are the causes for this? What are the causes for this? As we know, it is a dynamic, keep changing. So social structure in India has evolved significantly over time, from ancient time to till now. It might be of politically, economically, socially, culturally. So these are the causes for it. Historical transformation, economic change, technological advancement, changing family structure, education, and globalization and cultural shift. So, what is historical transformation? So, you know that during the colonial era, how it kept changing. And after colonial era, that is post independence, that many articles, many constitutional reforms were brought. Examples education, right to education, then to bring the equality, secularism, then economic changes. It is the impact of industrialization, how the classes kept changing, shift from agrarian to industrial economy, then liberalization, privatization, and globalization, the movement of people from one place to the other place in the entire world, then technological advancement, that is digital revolution, made accessible to information, communication, education, anywhere, anytime, to anybody, then creating social awareness, how important role they had played, then social media, how it is creating awareness, then changing family structure from the large family to nuclear, then education as a catalyst for change, how education played an important role in this changing structure in the society, then urbanization and migration, then globalization and cultural shift. These are the causes for the change in the structure of society in India and most applicable to other. So that's all about the class. So if any doubts, anything, so we'll talk and discuss about it in tomorrow's class.